welcome to the reverse V-set. That's the technique we're going to be covering today. Now, we use a reverse V-set when we want to shape the dog's approach to an obstacle. So, in this short sequence, the dogs are starting on this jump over here. We want them to come to the front side of this jump, wrap it, and end up over this jump here. So as you can see with the line on the ground, this is the approach we want the dogs to take. Now, if I was just going to do a normal front cross and be here and send my dog to the jump and then go forward, most of our dogs would be slicing that jump, landing heavily on their shoulders and trying to come back to wrap it. So we want to tell the dog before takeoff that we're going to actually be turning tightly out of this obstacle. So in order to do that, we use what we call the reverse V-set. Now, the reverse V-set pretty much is going to look like this. We connect in, send my dog around and out. Now, a reverse V-set, to begin with, can end in two ways. It can either end in the front cross, which is what the Yako, which is what I just did, so sending them over and picking up on the same hand, or it can end in a front cross. So again, connected with my dog, send them round and pick up on the front cross and go through on this side. So if we look at our 7 handling elements in a reverse V-set, the first one is motion, and obviously our motion is going to be in towards the jump. The key thing about this is you want to show a rhythm change. So that rhythm change is what tells the dog that something's happening, that there's a turn coming. So remember, with motion, if you slow down, the dog slows down. So that's what gives our dog the nice collection cues. So we want to be moving and then just slowing down our pace as we get into the obstacle. If we think about position with the reverse V-set, the position is going to be very close to the jump. So in order to do a reverse V-set, you need to be able to get in position to what we call be the cone. So think of me as a big orange cone that the dog's going to have to come around before they take off. So you can't impact the line if your position is here. So you need to be able to position yourself, I like to think, almost on the first bit of the bar, depending on your dog and how much collection your dog needs. So if I position myself here, as my dog's coming, you can see on the yellow line, they're actually going to have to kick out and go round me. And my position here is going to kick them out there, which means that when they take off for this jump, they're now taking off from here, so that they're going to land on the correct path. If I'm out here trying to do it, they're going to take off here and land out in a slicing jump. So the whole purpose of the reverse V-set is to impact the line before takeoff so that they can prepare themselves and have already turned on the flat before they take the obstacle. So you need to become the cone that the dog has to turn around. So this is the position I would like to be in. I like to think about making sure I'm at least even with the upright of the wing so that my dog has to come around my body. And again, it's going to depend on the dog because some dogs need a lot more collection cues and some dogs don't. So next is connection. Remember, again, connection, always looking at our dog, watching our dog, and as they're taking off, we reconnect over the shoulder for the side we want them to come on. So that's the connection part. The chest, again, remember where the chest goes is where the dog goes. So in the reverse V-set, I want to be careful about where my chest is pointing. So I don't want to get into a position where I'm the cone here, but my chest is still pointing out this way because that's going to help make my dog jump that way. So I want to position my chest down to where they're going to take off, which is the spot out there on that yellow line. So I want to position myself here. My chest is going to go down to takeoff point, like we did with the front crosses. So chest to the takeoff point. Next, we think about feet. Now, feet can do two different things here, and it's going to depend on how much collection your dog needs. So, if your dog is quite motion sensitive, so they collect nicely already, I would keep my feet towards the bar a little bit to help keep the momentum going forward. Because some dogs, like Cooper, he struggles if I slow down too much into an obstacle, he could pull up. So I want to make sure when I'm doing the reverse V-set with Coop, I keep my feet more towards the bar and then I kick off. So that way I'm not showing as much collection cue. So for the lower drive dogs, it might be helpful to keep the feet facing forward and then going out. If you have a dog that needs a lot of collection cue, and none of my dogs are like this, but if you've got one that needs a lot of collection cues, you turn yourself more towards the dog. So in this case, my feet are going to turn back towards my dog as they're taking off. So my chest goes with my feet, so it turns more towards the dog, and that gives them more collection cues to get out there and tightly wrap, and then we move off. So this is something you can play around with you and your dog. You know your dog well, especially since we've done the front crosses and those type of techniques together. You know if your dog collects well, and you know if they don't. So choose which direction you want your feet to go based on what your dog's giving you as feedback. So that's the feet. The hand, remember, goes with the chest and the feet. So for the lower drive dogs, I keep my hand and my feet down towards the takeoff, and then I turn out. If it's my bigger, needing more collection dogs, my hand comes with my feet and really marks the takeoff as we come out. So if I'm using the Yarko, remember, if it's reverse V-set to Yarko, we keep on the same hand. If we're going to do this as a reverse V-set to front cross, and let's do it as a dog that needs a lot of collection, I come through, turn towards my dog, and then out into the front cross. And sorry, my rotation is not good. I've got a really stiff shoulder, so please forgive me. So that's with the hands. Now, a verbal here, you don't really need one, but if you do have a collection cue verbal, you could give it here. And also, if you've got a dog that needs a bit of motivation, so if your dog might need a bit of help driving out of here, and you've done your Yarko, you could give them a name call just to help them try and drive around out of that turn. So I really like this technique because remember, our goal in agility is to make sure that we're showing our dog the smoothest, fastest line, but also making sure that the lines we're showing them is safe for their bodies. So I like to make sure that my dogs have the best approach to obstacles so that they're not falling on their shoulders, or that way I'm not going to have impact issues down the track. So that's why I love this. If you need to do a wrap like this and you can get to the jump, then this is something I would use with all of my dogs, even with my lower drive dogs, because it really does kick them out and allows them to approach the jump from the right angle that they're going to land on so they can power out. So remember, things with a reverse V-set. 1, you need to be in front of your dog. 2, you need to be able to get into position to be the cone. And 3, depending on the type of dog you have, is what's going to happen with your chest and feet. So remembering, if we've got a lower drive dog, our feet can come in towards the bar and keep forward to help the dog maintain the momentum, and then we come out. Or we can turn ourselves back towards the dog more and then reconnect and out. And then also remembering that you can either end this in a Yako, which is the same hand, or you can end this move as a front cross on this hand. So that's the reverse V-set in a nutshell. So if you've got any questions, please let me know. But just remember, the purpose of the reverse V-set is to shape the dog's line before they take off, so that they're landing in the direction we want them to go after the wrap. And that way, we're increasing their ability to power out of the jump, and we're also making sure that the landing is best for their shoulders. And this is a great move if you've got dogs that don't collect well and don't wrap that nicely. Now, for some dogs, if your dog approaches jumps and squares up nicely for wraps, like both of my girls, Storm and Rain, I probably wouldn't use this as much because they've got a nice ability that if I just stepped on their line a little bit as I sent them to the jump, if I sent them out like that, they would square up nicely themselves. But a lot of you have highly obstacle focused dogs who, if at this start line I'm like this, they're thinking slicing that way. So they're the sort of dogs that need help to be able to shape this line. So a lot of you have those really highly obstacle focused dogs that this is going to be a really nice move for you to use, because we have seen in a few of the exercises that we have done that a lot of you have dogs that will tend to slice and then try and turn. So we're now going to impact them turning before they take off. So you'll see a big difference in how they take these jumps. So if you've got any questions, please let me know, but enjoy the reverse V-set. Thanks, guys.